All right,
Okay, we're
recording in
good.
progress. All right, cool. So basically what we're going to do is we have the steps to finding and maintaining a healthy relationship in chronological order so that you guys literally can follow this process and potentially find yourself in a relationship, a healthy one, a high value relationship. And what we have is the first and most important thing to finding a relationship, a healthy relationship, is your relationship with yourself, right? You can't be in a state of desper desperity,
Desperation.
desperation. Like constant. I was in a state of desperation for a while after high school because like I wasn't in college, I wasn't surrounded by girls, and I was just like, dude, like I need a fucking girlfriend, bro, because I don't hang around girls because I live with my brother. I go to work every day. Like I would throw myself at these girls, and that would immediately turn them off because they're like, oh well, obviously he doesn't have many options if he's just throwing himself at me like this. So it's from a girl's perspective. I mean, I've already witnessed it. I've experienced like a girl not really being turned on by the fact that you're throwing yourself at them. So that is first and foremost. But Breen, how do you find the balance of um approaching a girl without making it seem like you're coming off desperate?
Yeah, for sure. So definitely don't want to come off as desperate, but you want to show your interest because girls love to be flattered, complimented, feel beautiful. Like if a girl feels good around you, she's going to want to keep being around you.
Mhm.
So I think that you have to just be like cool, calm, and collected and make it known like I'm interested in you. I want to like take you out or something. But if the girl is like not reciprocating, then don't be like pushing, don't be like throwing yourself at her, don't be trying too hard. You have to just realize like what the girl is giving you. You just kind of want to like match her energy.
Mm.
So definitely pursue the girl and make it known that you like are interested in her and stuff, but don't be like jumping down her throat or like
But
just be like too much.
what if it's like reversed where the girl wants a guy who doesn't seem interested in her?
Well, it kind of goes the same way. I mean, personally to me, I think it's like attractive when a guy will like, make an effort, like go after what he wants. So I think there's no harm in like showing interest in someone.
But it's like finding the balance of showing your interest and not being like
Of course.
desperate, right? So it's like
Yeah.
this is where guys get tripped up and shit because they're like, well, what the fuck? Like, I don't.
You're saying like if a girl is playing hard to get.
Yeah, but you have to show some like interest without coming across desperate, no?
Exactly. So show the interest, see what the girl does. If she's playing hard to get, let her play hard to get. Don't chase her. Like just give her back what she's giving you. And eventually she's going to realize, why am I playing these stupid
Mhm.
games? And then she's just going to be like, okay, well, if I actually want this guy, then I should probably,
Yeah.
do
But
something about it
to
too.
tie it back to self-love, when you're in a state of like, I don't need this person, I don't need anybody, I have myself, I have my homies, I have my family, you're kind of subconsciously not going to sacrifice your self-worth to chase a relationship, right? Because you're going to understand your own value. You're going to be like, well, what can this person bring to my life that I don't already have within myself, right? Like
Exactly.
you're going to be in such a grounded place where a relationship isn't really going to make or break who you are, right? And for a while I was in that place where it's like I just got out of a relationship, so I was constantly looking to find a relationship so I could like one up my ex, you know
Really.
what I mean? Where it's like I make her feel like, wow, I lost a good boyfriend because look who's dating now. So that was
Yeah.
on a subconscious level. Obviously I wasn't like thinking that, but subconsciously I was. But then over my time of being single, and I was single because I was being desperate, I learned to just love myself and realize like, wow, I've been single for this long and here I am. I'm alive, I'm thriving, I'm healthy, I'm happy. I'm making good memories with my friends. I don't really need a relationship. And when you can kind of build that reputation with yourself where it's like, look, I continue to show up to life every day. I wake up, I do what I need to do. I love myself, I make good memories. What do I need a relationship for?
Mhm.
Right? Because the only reason you should ever want a relationship is to amplify the love that's already in your life,
Mhm.
right? Like anything other than that is kind of like ill intent, right? Like a lot of young kids, dudes especially, will jump into relationships just because they want consistent Gucci. right? But once you're out of high school, I think it's time to really mature and realize like relationships aren't something to just kind of fuck around in, because they take up your time, and your time is the most valuable thing that you have. So if you're just donating your time to someone that doesn't deserve it, and they know this, right? Like these people that you chase know that they don't deserve your time because they've done nothing to prove their worth to you. They're going to take advantage of you over and over again because you aren't setting any boundaries for yourself and you don't have that self-love.
Mm-hmm. Also, if you really think about it, don't jump into relationships because on a serious level, how often are you meeting someone that you're like, wow, I can really see a future with this person. Like, I really have feelings for this person. I'm attracted to this person. I like have the same values as this person. I can like see a future with this person. Not that often.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're just jumping to the next person available you find because you're lonely and you don't love yourself and you can't be alone, you're going to be wasting time then in a bad relationship with someone who is not going to be benefiting you, is not going to be like with you for the long run. So when you look at it that way, it's really just a waste of time.
Yeah.
So
And you don't want to have the rose-colored glasses on either.
exactly.
You don't want to just like ignore all of their flaws and their red flags because it's like the first person in a while that you could potentially see something with, right?
Yeah.
Like I talked to Sabrina for quite some time before we were both feeling it out, you know. It was like we were both like we were in no rush, and you shouldn't be in any rush, right? Like there's why are you in a rush? Like if this person is going to be the person, then there shouldn't be a timeline on how long you guys talk or are feeling. Obviously, like if you guys don't start dating within like a year of talking, then there's probably some underlying commitment issues, or like you're just using the person. And like I said, you don't want to waste each other's time, right? Like obviously Sabrina and I, like I took her to fucking Hawaii. Like we went to Hawaii together, like took her to see my home.
Mhm.
Wait, did I take you to Ohio before I asked you
Yeah.
out?
Actually, no, I think like
I don't
right
think
after,
so.
but I already like met your mom and stuff.
Yeah. So ultimately, when you have that love with yourself, you're not going to be in this place of like, I need a relationship. And then you're going to be radiating that energy that you have, that self-love,
Mhm.
that like, yo, this guy doesn't give a fuck. Like he's just himself. This dude is not indoctrinated. And for the girls, what would you say to them?
Ultimately also that is what's going to attract someone to you. And I think this really goes for guys and girls because like Alex said, when somebody is desperate and you like, even if they don't come off and like say I'm desperate, I swear you can just like feel it. Like you can just pick up on that energy where you're like, okay, this person is desperate and like I'm just not into it.
Mm-hmm.
So when you have that self-love and you kind of have that attitude where you're like, I'm good enough, and if you want to be great with me too, then great. But if you're not going to treat me right, then I don't have time for this. When you have that kind of an attitude, you're only going to attract quality people because people are going to pick up on that and it's going to be attractive. And also you're going to be weeding through all the guys or all the girls who are just there to waste your time and who aren't really worthy of you. So
yeah, and for a majority of everyone in here, like I would say 98% of people probably won't be compatible with you because you guys are people that see through the system. You guys are on the self-improvement wave, and you don't really your life doesn't revolve around drinking and going to the bars and shit. And the truth is, a majority of people that are our age, that's their life, you know. So it's like finding like, and the next thing we have for is what to look for, right? So it's a conundrum because you shouldn't really be looking, right? Like I wasn't looking for a girlfriend when I met Sabrina. I was literally just at a party having fucking fun with my friends, you know, like that's literally all I was doing, and then it just happened. But I could tell when I met Sabrina that like our conversations were just like we were on the same wave, like where like you don't really care for the whole party scene, the club scene isn't your whole entire life. And I think that right there will tell you a lot about someone. Like if they would rather spend quality time with someone than go to the club, like that says a lot about a young person.
Yeah.
Because the majority of young people just want to have no commitments, no responsibilities, go get fucked up. So if you can find someone who's like semi-aware, and then you can kind of like influence the person to be like, this isn't all there is to life, and you guys grow together. I think that's where you start, right? Like you don't need to know this person's whole entire life story, even though it is helpful, but you don't need to like get so nitpicky on the little things about this person's personality, because obviously 99% of people are going to have flaws that need to be, I mean, and there's no such thing as perfection, right? Like you just got to find someone that, like Luke said, is the yin to your yang.
Yeah, that you love and that you, I don't know, that you guys just click, like you guys just connect. Because I feel like when you meet that person, obviously you don't know right away if you guys are going to end up dating or whatever is going to happen, but you can just like feel kind of like a connection.
Yeah.
So I guess that's kind of a signal. But like Alex said, don't be looking, because if you're looking, you're desperate. Like,
Exactly. Even if
yes,
it's a subconscious look, you know,
exactly.
like
Like,
if you go to the club or you go to the bar with your friends and you're like, dude, let's find some pussy, let's find some coochie. Whenever I would go to the club with my friends in Ohio, none of them were ever having that mentality. It was like, I don't care what happens, bro. I'm just gonna have fun regardless. And then by that happening, like most of the guys would end up getting with chicks because no one had the expectation to get with chicks. You know, it's like, and that like lifestyle is cool and all if you're a freshman in college, but I'll tell you for certain, like it gets so old, unfulfilling, waste of energy. Like it's just not worth all your time. And like usually when you are in the hookup culture scene in that life, it combines with alcohol, right? Because how many dudes are out here spinning game on girls absolutely sober? Very, very, very few, you know? So it's like, it's just a toxic environment all around.
yeah. And it's like when you are under the influence, you're also not, your judgment is not right. So you're gonna go home with a girl and then wake up the next morning and be like, who is this chick? Like, why is she in my bed? What did I do? Like, no. So you just have to be careful, because then
But what about the girls?
same thing. Like if you are drinking, then that's like altering your judgment
And
and
I feel
stuff.
like,
And it's just like,
sorry.
oh, it's okay. I don't know. It's just you have to be smart. You have to know your limits, even when you're out drinking, having fun. Like, I was in college too, but I never let myself get to the point where I was like so plastered that I would like let a guy come
Yeah.
at me like that. Like I always could be like,
And
no.
to a girl, for a girl, I feel like one of the most valuable things you have is like access to you. You know what I mean? Like that's like probably like, and if you give it up immediately, like what are you showing about yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. It's just, well, that's just my personal stance on it. And my stance is that like when it comes to like sleeping with a guy, it's just, if you're gonna let a guy do that without letting them prove anything to you, then you should ask yourself, like, why do I feel like a guy doesn't have to make any kind of an effort or prove anything to me? And I think a lot of girls have just been kind of brainwashed by society into thinking that like
Cardi B and Megan Thee Stallion.
yeah, into thinking that like sex isn't that valuable, like your body is just your body, like it's really like they have taken something so like divine and special and kind of just exploited it to the point where girls think that that's what they have to do in order to like get a guy to like love them or care about them or whatever. But it's like,
but then on the same side or the other side of the coin, it's like we kind of evolved from, or I don't know about evolved, but we got here from just like primitive sexual nature, and it's like that is like a human characteristic is just to like have sex with things,
well, yeah,
have sex with other like
but
people.
girls are different than guys when it comes to that. And like girls are more selective because it's
They
just
should be
different.
anyway. They should
It's
be.
just
They
different.
should be. I think anyway. Because if you think about a trophy, it's like a participation award doesn't really mean anything. It's the trophies that you have to really work for that mean something to you.
Exactly.
So that leads us into the approach. Did we just cover approach?
Not really. Well, so let me ask you this. So what are like some things in a girl that you would look for that you think are like important, or not necessarily look for, but
In the
like
approach or what?
no, just like characteristics. Like say you meet a girl and like what would you think is like important?
Hygiene, obviously. Um, like a nurturing personality, like I come from a family with a very loving mother, and I know that
Mhm.
some dudes don't. But I love like a girl who like I can just tell would be like a good mother figure,
Mhm.
because I don't want to waste my time with a girl who like, because obviously like I like I've been telling you guys, you don't want to waste your time with um girls in here who aren't long term, so it's like when I'm with a girl, I want a girl who's very nurturing, very feminine, um and it's like a traditional feminine woman, like likes to
Mhm.
cook, likes to, or like doesn't necessarily like to clean, but like under like doesn't have a problem doing it.
Mhm.
But like are you talking about like first impression?
Uh, Not necessarily, but I mean, all of those things that you just said, I think,
Yeah,
like really answer the question. And like for or for girls out there who are looking to see like, is this guy a good guy? I feel like you just have to look at like if they have discipline, if they have like a good work ethic, because if they are able to discipline themselves, that says a lot, and it shows that they're like more of a man than they are just like a boy. And just if he cares to make something of himself and he's like putting in the effort, it's not really about like so many guys think girls just care about money, but I feel like it's not about money. It's about just wanting to like make something of yourself and of your life and just
not
having
being
like,
complacent.
yeah, or just not being lazy, like not sitting around all day eating chips and like doing nothing, like
Yeah, and
just
a lot
going
of
out
guys,
there
a lot
and
of
doing
guys,
stuff.
as soon as they get a girlfriend, will just like throw all their ambitions out the window.
Yeah.
Like you give a man pleasure and comfort. Forget what the quote is, but it's something along the lines of, you give a man comfort and pleasure, he'll throw all of his ambitions out the window. So you can never, like, no matter how comfortable your girl makes her life, like she cooks for you, cleans the whole house, you always have to have your masculine center, which is like your purpose, which should triumph, everything, right? Like you need to have that thing there, so you guys can work as a compatible team, right? Where it's like the the wife, the girl, takes care of the nurturing, and you have to go out and do the hunting, right? The hunting and the gathering and the homie. What the fuck just happened?
I think we're good. Oh,
Signed out. Yeah, you guys still hear me? You guys still hear me? That was the weirdest shit ever.
yeah, that was weird.
Is it still recording? It says it's
Okay,
recording.
they're giving us a thumbs up, so
That's, dude, Zoom's been bugging
yes.
today. Um,
Zoom's weird.
so the approach for a man to a woman, I think it has to be like a very confident one, but not like too what's the word I'm looking for? Like overwhelming.
Yeah, like aggressive.
Yeah, aggressive, where it's like, you're like, damn, Shawty, you look so good tonight. Yeah, I feel like it's gotta be like a very just like calm, centered compliment on something, right? And
Yeah.
I feel like I wouldn't even, I usually don't compliment immediately, because I feel like you kind of got to earn a compliment, right? If you're like trying to approach a girl, I would always just say something along the lines of like, remind me your name, because then they're like, oh shit, have I met this guy before? So
Really?
yeah, something along the lines like, oh my God, I haven't gotten your name. Remind me of your name. And then it's just super small talk from there, because you're likely in an environment where you can't hear things if you're at a party or a club. But if you're just out and about, um, I don't think I've ever approached a girl just out and about though.
Really, Alex?
No, I mean, has
That's
has
crazy.
anyone ever approached a girl just out and about, like fucking that the supermarket or something? I feel like that doesn't really happen. Luke, what was your approach, Luke? How'd it go? Did you close the deal? But if I were to, I would definitely just compliment like her outfit or her makeup or something,
Yeah.
and I would just do it, or I would say I just moved to the area. Like, do you know any good spots? And then just
Yeah,
wiggle your way in there.
I feel like you don't need to overthink it too. Like
Yeah.
girls are not that, I mean, girls can be complicated, but they're not that complicated when it comes to that. Like really just flatter them and don't come off as like you're just trying to get in their pants.
Mhm.
Like just be genuine. Just be like, you're you're really pretty and I'd love to like get to know you. And then if she's into you or she finds you attractive, then she'll text you And if
Yeah.
not, then she won't, and you'll go on to the next.
And it's
Like,
all about the energy too, just charisma and like a calm, centered charisma. You know what I'm saying when I say that? Like
yeah.
like, oh, you live around here? Oh, no
Mhm.
way, no way. You know, just, but not too much. You know,
Yeah.
it's a balance. It's about, and this is where guys get like fucking overthinking about it because it's like there's so many different ways to do it, but ultimately just be calm, be
Yeah.
cool, be collected.
And like, even if the girl doesn't, like, say she has a boyfriend, or say she's just not like attracted to you or whatever, she's still gonna be like smiling no matter what, just from that compliment. Like, you're still gonna have made her day no matter what. So don't overthink it, and don't like, the no girl's gonna go home and be like, what the heck, that guy just called me pretty. Like,
Yeah.
she's gonna go home and be like, oh my god, that guy called me pretty. Like, oh my god.
That's true. So don't overthink it. Don't even like worry about the fear of rejection. But obviously, probably not one of those girls that looks like she like just walks around with a massive ego, you know, because like
Yeah.
they probably hear it 45 million times a day on Instagram. So you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is that valid or is that
Yeah,
like generalizing?
100%. I mean, I
But
think,
that's usually just a Miami thing. So like you guys probably don't have to worry about it much.
yeah.
So that takes us to the frame. So one of my good friends was in a situationship not too long ago, and the woman was in the masculine and he was in the feminine, which means like the girl was making all the major decisions, saying, well, let's go here, let's do this, let's do that, causing the guy to just kind of be fucking confused and lost. So it's important at the beginning of a relationship that you are like setting a frame where it's like, here's my expectations from you. Here's what you can expect from me. And by like a man doing that, she already will respect your frame because like, okay, well, he just told me how he wants it, you know? And for a woman, all she wants to do is be able to relax in your presence. Like the feminine just wants to be able to relax. And Sabrina tells me all the time that women have 11 times less testosterone or something, so they can't handle nearly as much stress. So the man's job is literally to handle, and testosterone makes it so you can handle stress. So the man's job is literally to handle the stress. So like I use this as an example all the time, or like it happens all the time where like we're driving and I ask Sabrina for directions when I should probably just trust myself for the directions. And when I don't trust myself, we always go the wrong way. And it like that's just a perfect example of like the masculine needs to be able to take that initiative and trust his gut, right? And what are some like other situations? Can you think of any?
Um, well, I just think that also, just like, a masculine man makes a woman feel good because she knows that he's there to protect her.
Mm.
So like, a girl wants to be around a guy that she feels like can protect her or save her, or like she feels safe being around him, and not just safe like physically, but also safe like emotionally. Like, she can talk to you, like she can open up to you, she can like communicate with you, whatever, because those are the things that are important to girls. And like you said, just being able to like make decisions and kind of like lead, I guess you could
You
say.
also have to know that women, like the feminine, is just naturally very emotional. Sabrina does a great job at managing her emotions,
Yeah.
but like a majority of girls are just emotional roller coasters, you know? So it's like the masculine's duty is to be the centered opinion, that's the centered like
Rock.
the rock of the relationship, where it's like, and you never ask a girl where she wants to go out to eat, you
Mhm.
know, like unless she tells you where she wants to go out to eat, like you just don't ask.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I've tried asking Sabrina countless times, and it's just I don't know, maybe we can go, you know, like that's I every time I ask, I know I probably should have just chosen it
Yeah.
to myself, but like that's just the roles. That's how they go, you know. It's like you,
We're different for a reason.
yeah,
And
yeah.
it's like, we're there to like complement each other and balance each other out. So like, when it comes to being a girl, it's important to be with a guy that you trust so that you can let him be in his masculine energy. Because if you're always down his throat, nagging him, trying to control him, trying to tell him how to do things, what to do, like, you're not his mom. And like, a guy already has a mom, so he doesn't need a second person to tell him what to do, to nag him, whatever. Like, that's just going to be unattractive. So you have to be with somebody that you can trust. I like I would never like tell you like don't do this or like
Mhm.
don't make this decision. Like I always like leave it up to you because I trust you and like I'm gonna support you either way, obviously. But it's important because if you're with a guy that you don't trust and you don't think is masculine, then you're gonna be constantly stressed out. You're gonna build up these feelings of anger and resentment, which are even more masculine feelings, and it's just gonna ruin the relationship. So you need to be able to be with a guy who brings out your feminine energy, and you have to kind of understand what that means and just ultimately be able to trust the guy that you're with and
Yeah.
trust his
And
decisions and
as a
stuff.
man, like you can complain about that. You can complain about like, oh, I have to carry the stress. I have to do everything. I have to pay the bills, X, Y, and Z. But like, what are you gonna do? You know, you're just gonna bitch about it. Bitching about it's gonna do absolutely nothing, right? Why spend all the energy bitching about it when you could just spend the energy like making it happen? You know, there's really just no reason to bitch about it.
Yeah, and also like if you're with the right girl, you guys are in it together. It's not like, oh, I have to do this. I'm doomed. Like, I hate my life. Like, I have to like do everything. Like, if the girl really loves you and really like wants to be with you, she is going to be with you no matter what. Like, no matter if shit hits the fan, no matter if you're trying everything and you hit rock bottom and you have to keep trying, like the
Mhm.
girl should be there with you to help you through it all and like to support you and to compliment you no matter what. So don't like try to change your perspective on it and realize we're a team, like we're in this together kind
Mhm.
of. So yeah.
So did we cover everything about the frame? Like, I feel like we
Um
should talk a little bit more about how to establish it.
yeah, yeah. So how did you kind of establish it with
It's
me?
been so long. It's been like a year. I feel like it was just kind of
Like
there.
natural.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
was just kind of there because I kind of understood like um not to rush things, not to be like I guess like too available too quickly, you know,
Mhm.
like and still prioritize myself rather than just like drop everything to go hang out with Sabrina. Like I would say, oh, I have to do X, Y, and Z today. I can't hang out. I have to do X, Y, and Z this weekend. Sorry, whatever. Just continuing to prioritize myself, my mission until I could really get a feel for Sabrina, or a feel for the relationship, whatever. And I feel for like, okay, I have the frame. She understands like um my my perspective
Mhm.
over everything.
Yeah.
I mean, does
Yeah.
that clarify a little bit for everyone? Okay, cool. So then that takes us into healing from any of your past relationships, you know. So you are potentially now seeing like a new partner. You have all of this understood, but you still have subconscious damage from your past relationships because you're like, well, what if I get cheated on again? What if they start Snapchatting again? What if you can't allow the past to determine how you feel about the future? And right, this is how our brains are literally wired to operate. The subconscious brain is literally wired to not put your hand back on a hot stove. You know, that's what it's programmed to do. But you can't allow what one person did change your opinion on this other person who's completely and totally different, right? Obviously have your precautions, but if you make it this far where you have the frame, you've been hanging out, you have the self-love, I don't think you should really be worrying about this person, because if you guys have made it this far and you guys can feel the vibe that all right, she's not Snapchatting 30 dudes a day, she's not posting on Instagram to boost her own ego all the time, she's you know a wholesome woman, you probably don't need to, or a man, you know, you probably don't need to tweak out too much.
Mhm.
So it's like getting over from that past trauma, accepting what happened, and not allowing it to linger any longer into your present life and your future life.
Yeah, and it's a lot easier said than done, I think, because like Alex said, you know, that's just how our brains are wired. And so just like be patient with yourself and understand that what happened in the past was unique to that relationship. And now you are in a completely new relationship. So you have to really judge based off the facts. And the facts are, has the person ever given you a reason not to trust them? Probably not, but go from there.
Mhm.
Like focus on the facts and then like ask yourself, well, what happened in my last relationship that caused this to happen? Well, maybe I wasn't with a high value person. Maybe this happened, maybe that happened. So focus on the facts instead of like letting yourself spiral into this like state of overthinking and anxiety, which I know it's not easy sometimes,
Mhm.
but just really try your best to talk yourself through it, focus on the facts. And I think we should also touch on like if you just went through a breakup, like how to kind of deal with it,
Yeah,
I
go
guess.
for it.
So I guess when you go through a breakup, I guess maybe guys and girls handle it differently. I don't really know how guys go through breakups, but I can only speak for like my own past experiences. But I would just say like bottom line is just trusting your journey and trusting the fact that if things didn't work out with this person, then it just wasn't meant to be. And as much as you maybe wanted it to be that person who was the one for you, like for some reason it didn't work out and it wasn't meant to be. And if it is meant to be, it'll happen in the future, but you won't have to like worry about it or do anything about it. Like it'll happen naturally. And you kind of just have to trust that if it didn't work out with this person, you're going to meet somebody else down the road when you're ready, when everything aligns in your life, and they're going to make you forget about that other person and realize like there was somebody better waiting for me. So just kind of like telling yourself that and knowing that if you go against like what the universe wants for you and the path that you should be taking, and you kind of like force things or you keep going back to this person when it keeps not working out, then you're just going to get caught in this vicious cycle and you're ultimately not going to be living the best and most desirable life for you because you're going to be going against what is
Mhm.
really aligned with you. So you have to tell yourself that. You have to tell yourself, I'm strong, I'm beautiful, whatever, and just focus on yourself. Focus on doing all those things that you want to do to better yourself, like elevating your hobbies and your passions and just focusing on doing all those things that will make you a better person.
Mhm.
And then when you find somebody new, you'll be in an even better state to
Mhm.
attract them. So
Beautifully said. So second to last, patience. You have to be patient, right? And patience is one of those things where it's like you can't see it. It's kind of like discipline, and it's kind of like something that you can't see grow, right? You can't. There's no patience monitor. It's not like a bank account. It's like, do you think when asking for patience, the universe is going to give you an opportunity to be patient, or it's just going to give you patience? Going to give you the opportunity to grow your patience. So don't be in a rush. Even when you find the person, you got to remain centered. You got to remain grounded. No impulsive moves. No, just nice and slow, bro. Nice and slow. Take your time. It's just like a sunset car ride. Like that should be all of life. Just a sunset, except for like getting money. You got to do that pretty quickly. But relationships, you don't want to end up with the wrong person. So just a sunset car ride, enjoy the view, enjoy the ride, see where it takes you.
yeah, babe.
Anything you gotta say about that?
I would say the same thing. Just be patient. Don't rush into things. Don't like romanticize a person. Don't just like meet a guy and be like, oh, he's the one. Like, that's it. I'm risking it all. Like, I'm going all in. When
Yeah.
he then shows you all these red flags, like, you have to just take your time, get to know the person. Don't ignore, like, don't have rose-colored glasses on and don't just see the things that
Yeah.
you want to see. So
lastly, Sabrina wanted to talk on possession.
oh yeah. So I think a lot of people get confused when it comes to relationships and they mistake possession for love. So I'm sure some of you guys have maybe been in a relationship like this where you feel like in possession of this person and you think like, oh, this person is mine, which yes, you guys are in a relationship, but to be controlling the person and telling them, you can't do this without me, you can't go here without me, you can't do all of these things. Like, that is not what love is. Love is trusting each other and like being in a relationship where you don't even feel the need to like say those things or do those things. And yeah, like love is not possession. Love is not owning or controlling another person. It's that's just not what love is. So don't be possessive of another person. And maybe it's just because of your past, but like we said, you have to heal. You have to like take that into consideration, and possession is not going to help you build like a healthy love. It's only going to push the person away.
Beautiful. All right, I'm gonna stop the recording there. You guys cool with that? Cool. Dude, my Zoom is fucking slow as molasses.
Exit out, Alex.
There we go. All right. Did you guys only hear recording stopped one time? Okay. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Wait, now it says recording again.